Hello everyone. Today's budget announcements reflect a continued commitment to strengthening India's economic landscape and enhancing its global competitiveness and facilitating M&A activities. The Finance Minister's focus on ease of doing business in India includes a forward-thinking approach with trust first and scrutinize later for the tax regime and a light-touch regulatory framework ensuring businesses can thrive without unnecessary hurdles. To foster innovation, the allocation of 20,000 crore and establishment of a deep tech fund of funds along with Center of Excellence for AI in education promises to catalyze the next generation of startups. Moreover, the increase in FDI limits from 74% to 100% in insurance sector is set to attract greater foreign direct investment. This increased limit is made conditional upon premium being invested entirely in India. The significant rise in turnover limit by 2 times, that is up to 100 crores, and investment limit by 2.5 times, that is up to 625 crore for MSMEs will help more businesses qualify for MSME benefits, including easier access to credit for them, which could be a game changer for many. Lastly, the simplified merger process and a faster timeline will facilitate smoother corporate transitions. Overall, these steps together lay a solid foundation for a more dynamic, innovative, and globally connected India. Thank you.
The budget that was presented today by the Honorable Finance Minister develops on some of the key themes that were presented in the Economic Survey. The Economic Survey projects a steady economic growth of 6% with a softening of inflation. India continues to be an attractive destination for foreign investment, and some of the budget announcements indicate the start of deregulation that the Economic Survey suggests is needed as a catalyst for growth. The most significant announcement made by the Finance Minister was the introduction of the new income tax bill next week. After the introduction of GST in July 2017, this is likely to be the most significant economic reform measure undertaken by the government and could have far-reaching implications. While we await the draft next week, the FMS promised that the new bill will be simple to understand, easy to administer, lead to tax certainty, and reduce tax litigation. This new bill is also likely to be much less voluminous than the existing bill. The second key high applause moment was on the personal tax reform, specifically aimed at the middle class. Under the new tax regime, for those under 60 years of age, there will be no tax outflow for individual taxpayers up to income of 12 lakhs from the financial year 25-26. Hence, practically, if you are a salaried person with income levels up to 1 lakh a month, you will not be paying any taxes under the new tax regime. The maximum rate of 30% has also been increased from a taxable slab of 15 lakhs to 24 lakhs, which provides a significant relief to a high portion of the middle income groups. This is aimed at providing a significant boost to middle class, which is likely to increase domestic consumption, investments, and personal savings. To address the need of tax certainty for Indian arms of global enterprises, there is a proposal in the new bill to conduct transfer pricing audits for a block of 3 years or more. This is welcome move since it is in line with global best practices. In addition to avouching, the FMS also announced provisions related to safe harbor regime, which will also be expanded. Both these proposals aim to provide tax certainty and reduce significant litigation in the area of transfer pricing. One other thing that Indian industry stands to benefit is from the rationalization of rates and threshold limits for the provisions of TDS. This has been a long-standing demand of the industry, and these changes align with the government's intention to reduce compliance burdens on the industry. Also, in a bid to continue to promote the Indian startup ecosystem, the benefits available to newly incorporated startups has been extended to 31st March 2020.
Finance Minister presented the budget today. From an indirect tax perspective, the changes that are coming to GST, there are no surprises there. These are the amendments that were proposed as part of the 55th GST Council meeting. Key changes that are coming in from this is One is the definition of plant and machinery, which was discussed elaborately in the Supreme Court in the case of Safari Retreats. Now, this definition has been retrospectively amended from 1st July 2017. So, the entire discussion of the Supreme Court and the judgment is nullified. So, it's a big hit to the real estate sector. This has come as part of the propositions in the finance bill now. Then, one of the most relief that the vouchers have got is the sector used to have an issue of whether voucher is a goods or services. Now, this has been clarified, a clarification was issued, and now the law is amended to give impact to this clarification. Now, the provisions relating to time of supply for vouchers is completely omitted from the law. This is a very welcome move because now the question of whether a voucher is a goods or services is settled. Now, other provision that the government wanted to introduce from 1st April 2025 was ISD, which is Input Service Distributor. This is going to have a significant impact on all taxpayers who are having operations in multiple states. So, ISD provisions are made mandatory from 1st April 2025. So, any business that is having operations in multiple states have to take the registration before this date and start complying. One of the new changes that the GST Council introduced was bringing a track and trace mechanism. So now this is going to be something new, and government is implementing this for very few sectors. Let's say mostly right now we are expecting this to be impacted for sectors like tobacco, wherein the government is implementing a track and trace mechanism. We need to wait and see how this is going to be. It's going to be mostly digitized mechanism. So where movement of each goods and manufacturing of each goods is going to be traced. It's interesting. We need to wait and see how it's going to be implemented. Now, from an SEZ perspective, there was a clarity lacking as to whether a transaction that is happening within SEZ or an FTWC, whether it applies to a supply or not. Now, this has been clarified again through amendment in Schedule 3, where they have said that any transaction that is happening within an SEZ or FTWC does not amount to a supply of goods or services. This again is a very welcome move where the government's intent is to give clarification and resolve the issues at the initial stage itself instead of taking it to a litigation. So these are few of the key changes that has come in from a GST perspective, which were all expected, and it has come out as part of the law right now. Now, moving on to customs, there are two key changes that has come in. One of the changes is pertaining to provisional assessment. The importers and exporters were always had issues on provisional assessment, wherein we never had clarity on when the authority is going to conclude an assessment. Now, the law is brought in, proposed basically, wherein within 2 years the authority is required to conclude the provisional assessment, maximum extendable by 1 more year. This is going to be a very good move, wherein all the pending provisional assessments going to get rectified or closed in the next 2 to 3 years. One more welcome measure that come out in customs is the voluntary tax payment mechanism and voluntary revision of the entries that you post. So basically, if you are making an entry into customs today, the process is very complex, wherein it is very difficult for us to make any corrections. So the measures are brought in wherein an importer and exporter can make edits into the entry that they are passing for imports and exports. Apart from this, there are plenty of rate changes in impacting different sectors, whether it is EV sector, whether it is for let's say leather goods. Plenty of different sectors, different rate measures are there. I'm not dwelling into the rate changes independently, but the intent of all the changes in the customs is either improve the domestic manufacturing or reduce the burden of taxes on the MSMEs. So this has been the trend, and it is definitely very good measures that the government is implementing for increasing the production or manufacturing in the country. Overall, if I have to put the entire budget summary, I would say there are four key takeaways that will be there. One is increase the purchasing power in the hands of the middle class, then reduce the compliance burden on the taxpayers, and put more trust on the taxpayers than scrutinize them, then reduce the custom tariff barriers that are there today, or the customs related compliances or complexities that are there, so the importers or exporters can do business with ease. Then finally rationalize and simplifies the entire tax system that we have.